Hello and welcome back to another fingerstyle tutorial today. We want to look at the song, the very famous, the old but timeless song Amazing Grace by John Newton. It's a song that really moves me personally and has helped me in my Christian life, and has a crazy story behind how the song was written by John Newton and how he came to Christ. And I just love the part where it says, just right at the beginning, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me," which really gives us a good perspective on what the gospel is. That God loves us so much that even though we're so wretched, He called out to us and He sent His Son to die for us. So let's get into this song. It's very simple, so if you know the basic chords and you've touched the guitar before, you should be able to learn this. So it might feel a bit, there's a lot of finger picking going on, but as you've seen in the playthrough, but it's actually pretty simple because there are a lot of open strings, so where we don't press down anything, we just play open notes, so it should be doable. So for this song, we're going to put the capo onto the 4th fret, and the strings are going to be in standard tuning. So we're going to name them the low E string, the A string, the D string, the G string, the B string, and the high E string. So yeah, let's get into the first segment. So the first segment sounds like this. So this is the first part that we're going to look at. To start off, we're going to play the D string open. So this is the initial note, this is the first note that we're going to play. And after this, we're going to a G major position. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'll explain. So we're going to play the D open. And then we're going to play the low E string on the 3rd fret, here, together with the D string open again and the G string open. And we're going to play these 3 strings together, like this. And it sounds nice if you roll it a bit like this, like this. So again, the D string open, and then 3 strings together, like this. And now because this is a very slow song, there's going to be a lot of filling notes to accompany the melody. So after this, we're going to play the D string open again, the G string open, and the D string open again. So we're just going to stay in this G position just by pressing down this the low E string on the 3rd fret. And then we're going to play D string open, G string, D string again, like this. So very simple. We're not changing anything here. So again from the start. And after this, we're going to play the B string open, G string open, and then G string open again, but this time again with the bass note, so meaning with the E string on the 3rd fret, the low E string, like this. So like this. So again, B string open, G string open, B string open again with the low E string on the 3rd fret, like this. And together it should sound like this. And after this, we're going to play the D string open again and the G string open again. Like this. So we're not pressing down any notes basically. But I just like to keep my hand in this position because this part is basically just the, or this whole part is played in the G chord. So that's why I'm keeping my fingers like this, even though I don't need to technically press down anything, but it makes it easier to move to the next part. So after this, so we played, like I said, D string and G string open. And then we play on the G string the second fret, like this. And then we go to the C. So after playing this, after playing the G string on the second fret, we're going to the C major position. This would look like this. So we're putting, so we're pressing down the A string on the third fret up here. So going one down, you know, from before. We're going to play the D string on the second fret. And yeah, that's basically it. Like a normal C, you would also play the B string on the first fret, but we don't need that. We just need the top. And then we're going to play 3 strings. So we're going to play the A string on the third fret, like I said. The D string on the second fret, like I said. And the G string open. Open means not pressing down any fret. And we're going to play them together, 3 strings, just like we did at the beginning where we played 3 strings. With the G, now with the C. So together it should sound like this. So this is where the transition happens. We're playing the G string on the second fret and then the C. And after playing these 3 strings together, we're going to stay in this position and we're going to play the A string on the third fret. So this one. Like this. And then we play, so we're basically just going, we're just filling out the void. We're just going down, up, down, up. So we're going the A string, we're just staying in the same position. We're playing the A string, the D string, the A string again, and the D string again. So after playing the C, it should sound like this. So it's pretty quick, but it's very simple. You're not moving anything here. So just take your time to learn this pattern. And after this, if you've mastered this, we're going to continue. And after playing, going up and down the C, we're going to play we're going to a G major position again. So we're going to press down the low E string on the third fret together with the D string open. So this one together with the low E string, like this. And to fill out the void, we're going to play the A string on the second fret. So basically just keep the G major position here. So when you play the low E string and the G string, and then we play the A string on the second fret, this one, together, not together, but separately with the G string open. So like this. Oh, not the G string, the D string. Like this. So it should sound like this. Wait, I'm confused. Yeah, this sounds right. So from the C, it sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is, because it's just basically just playing notes from this chord so that we fill out the silence, the pause, you know. So just playing like this, that's basically it at the end. Sorry. Like this. And this was the first segment. And if you put this together, it should sound like this. Make sure to take your time to practice this, and then we'll get to the second segment. So this is the second segment. We'll get this now. So again, we're starting like in the first segment with the D string open, like this. And then the G string open, so, and then G position again, so we're going to play the E string, the low E string on the 3rd fret, together with the G string open and the D string. So these 3 strings. So from the start, like this. And then after this, we're going to fill out the void again, so we're going to play the D string, G string, D string again. So very simple. So from the start, like this. Take your time to just learn this pattern. And after this, we're going to play the B string open, followed by the G string open, like this. Oh, sorry. Just like this. And once we've done this, we're going to the E minor. So we don't need to press down anything on the E minor because we're going to just play open strings, but just for the feel, because it feels weird to not have a hand on the neck, on the fretboard. So that's why I would still recommend just pressing down the E minor if you know it anyways. Yeah, so we're going to play the E string, the low E string open, together with the G string open and the B string open. So together it sounds, so all 3 strings, and together they sound like this. Yeah. So from the start of the second segment. I would recommend pressing down the E minor also because we need it now. So it makes sense to press it down from the beginning. Now we're going to play the D string on the 2nd fret, so this one, and we're going to play this, the D string on the 2nd fret, like I said, G string open, and D string on the 2nd fret again. So basically just staying like the E minor and just playing the D string, G string, D string, going down and up, like this. So like this. It's pretty simple, but I can understand if this is a bit difficult at the beginning. And after this, we're going to play the B string open again, And then we're gonna press down the 3rd fret on the B string, like this. Sorry. Just like this. And after this, it's immediately followed by playing the low E string on the 2nd fret. Now, I would recommend using your thumb. Now, this may look a bit unusual, or maybe you've already seen this, but for me it makes it easier to just press down the 2nd fret of the low E string with my thumb, like this, instead of playing like this or something, because then I have spare fingers down here. So I would recommend doing like this, but you can do it either way how you want to do it. I just prefer it this way. So immediately it's followed by playing, however you want to play it, the low E string on the 2nd fret, and it's followed by the D string open, G string on the 2nd fret, and B string on the 3rd fret. So you can just hold this position basically. So you might recognize this. So this is the D major chord shape. So after playing this with the E minor, and immediately after that, low E string, D string open, G string 2nd fret, D string open again, and then B string on the 3rd fret. Now this was a bit fast, so again. And then low E string on the 2nd fret, D string open, G string on the 2nd fret, D string open again, and then the B string on the 3rd fret. And this was already the 2nd segment. Yeah, let's get to the 3rd segment. So this is the 3rd segment, the 3rd segment of 4 segments. So after we played the 2nd segment, we're going to continue with our first hammer on in this song. So we're playing open B string, and then we're going to do a hammer on. So we're going to use the kinetic force of our finger to create a sound on the 3rd fret of the B string, like this. And with this motion, we're going to transition to a G, like this. So, and then E string on the 3rd fret, together with the G string open, and the D string on the 3rd fret. So the B string on the 3rd fret, sorry. So you can just leave it here basically. So hammer on, like this. We're going to fill out the gaps by playing the D string open, G string open, and D string open again. So very straightforward. So just like this. And after this, we're playing the B string open and the G string open, and the B string open again, but this time with the bass note of the G major, meaning the low E string on the 3rd fret. So this was a bit fast, so again, slowly. And then, like I said, B string open, G string, and then B string open again, this time with the bass note. So, like this. the start. Like this. And then after this, we're going to play the D string open again, G string open again, and D string open again. So it's pretty much the same, like just like in the first half. Now the good thing about the filling notes is that you can't really mess up. So even though it's not like the exact way I taught you now how to play it, it might just sound good enough because it's just random notes of the chord, if you know what I mean. So we played this part, and after this we're playing the G string on the 2nd fret. And now comes the exact same part that we learned at the first segment. So I don't need to teach you this again. If you learned the first segment, you can play this. So like this, G string 2nd fret, and then the C, 3 strings together. It's the exact same thing like the end of the first segment, so I'm not gonna repeat now everything. But yeah, this was already the 3rd segment. Let's get to the last segment. So yeah, this is we're already at the end of the song, so it's very simple, and I hope it's easy to learn. I hope I explained it well. So yeah, let's learn the last part. We're starting off with the D string open again, and then we're going to play the G string open like this. So D string open and G string open like this, and then we play the E string, the low E string open together with the G string open. So for the first part we don't need to technically press down anything. So we're going to play like this. But we're going to play the E minor because we need it now. So, and then we play the 2nd fret on the D string and the 2nd fret on the A string. And we're going to play the A string, then D string, A string again. So like this, and together. Again. And after this, we're going to play the B string, this one, open. And then the G string open. And B string open again, but this time playing the low E string on the 2nd fret. Like this. So again, B string open, B string open, G string open, B string open again, this time with the bass note of the D major, meaning the 2nd fret on the low E string. So like this. And after this we're going to play the D string open together with the G string on the 2nd fret. So like this. Again. song with the G chord. So again, low E string, 3rd fret, together with the G string open and the B string. G string open and B string. Not B string. What am I talking about? This is the G string. So G string and D string, sorry. So we're going to end this song like this. So this is the last chord. And just to let it ring out beautifully, we're going to play it. It looks more complicated than it is. So, G, like this, 3 strings together. Then we play a D string open again, G string open, D string open again, low E string on the 3rd fret. So, just like this. And this already was the whole song, so take your time to learn it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I hope that you can really learn the song and use it to worship the Most High. So have a great day and see you again.